This is a market DNA structural observation. The underlying asset documented in this record is the S&P 500 index. The specific structural system under observation is cycle ID SP500_3_4. This record tracks the alternative phase progression sequence, moving through Phase 1, Phase 3, Phase 2, and concluding in Phase 4. This sequence documents the boundaries and coordinates exactly as predefined prior to execution. This structure was defined prior to completion. Phase 1 establishes the primary entry coordinate at level M, recorded at $6,831.25. The secondary entry coordinate is defined at level PC, recorded at $6,761.14. The calculated mean entry price for these coordinates is $6,796.19. The predefined temporal boundary, marked as the trapezoid time duration, is locked at 18 days. The geometric constraint inputs begin with the third triangle domain, established at 2.86%. Applying a risk coefficient of 2 generates a total risk domain of 5.72%. The system inputs use a $100,000 hypothetical capital and a 10-unit contract size. The expected maximum drawdown limit is set at 5%, or $5,000. Position sizing is deterministically derived. Each trade size equals 0.64. Both trade sizes are calculated using the hypothetical capital, the investor's maximum allowed drawdown, the third triangle domain percentage, the risk coefficient, and the contract size. All structural risk and positioning parameters were locked before progression. Following the Phase 1 entry at M, the price dropped to $6,729.63, activating the secondary PC entry. Upward movement then tracked until the price interacted with the target N level coordinate at $6,928. Reaching level N completed Phase 3 entirely before the expected Phase 2 interaction. This specific interaction at level N extracted $843. These funds were documented as transferred directly into the safety buffer. Structural activation at target N was realized strictly within the predefined boundaries. Price action proceeded to interact with the delayed mirror coordinate at $6,952. This delayed mirror interaction occurred chronologically after the completion of Phase 3. Upon touching this coordinate, Phase 2 is recorded as complete. The position entered at PC closed during Phase 3, while the initial M entry remained active. The alternative sequence of interaction coordinates was fully traversed. Price activity eventually moved outside the initial 18-day trapezoidal time window. The record shows 3 distinct fluctuations occurring between level PC and target 1. As a result, the safety buffer accumulated $1,819, and the structural risk boundary was adjusted to $6,263. Price then recorded a decline to the cycle low of $6,312. 2 subsequent interactions were observed at level T1, measured at $6,847. These interactions raised the safety buffer to $2,469 and further adjusted the boundary to $6,212. A final interaction at target level N increased the buffer to $2,891 and set the boundary to $6,180. The final recorded price reached the top of the trapezoid at $7,015. Phase 4 cycle completion was achieved, with all positions closed and a final total profit of $3,591 documented. We observe the presence of multiple structural layers. This structure was defined prior to completion. The initial structural encoding is identified here as Fractal 1. Structural development and expansion are defined within Fractal 2. Price interaction moves within these established outer boundaries. The outermost activation window is documented as Fractal 3. Cycle completion occurred exactly within the bounded trapezoidal area of this third fractal. This progression remains consistent across the multi-asset structural framework. The record concludes by comparing the mathematical expected inputs against the realized metrics. The expected return was 2.24%, measured against a realized return of 3.59%. The expected drawdown constraint was 5%, measured against a realized drawdown of -4.36%. The predefined trapezoid time duration was 18 days, ending with a realized time duration of 69 days. The final mathematical alignment of the structural record is complete. This is a structural record. not financial advice. Leverage above 10 prohibited. Do not invest essential personal funds. Observation file concluded.